At first this video was just going to be about me gloating about how I informed Ben Wilson's union that he is a racist, sexist, misogynist twat, and God willingly they strip him of his union status, and without union protection he will undoubtedly be fired on the spot. So I am trying to actively ruin his life, and I'm very proud of that, because he insinuated that moderators are not to blame for anything, and that it's all Jim Prophet, because Jim Prophet's such an asshole, etc. And he considers himself liberal, but yet he's siding with the bourgeois class. That's what you get when you call yourself liberal as opposed to socialists, anarchists, communists, etc., and even anarchists. That's an argument for another day. The point is, he's reactionary, he's a scumbag, and I want his life to be ended. But, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I was originally just going to talk about this person, and how, we need to be aggressive and hateful and spiteful to pro-moderators, moderator sycophants, and moderators as a whole. However, this brings up a more pressing issue that I have noticed, and I got the idea for this video because of Femitheist's new video about how MRAs seem to compare teaching your kids not to rape versus teaching your daughters not to, dress unclassy. I didn't get a chance to watch the video yet because my internet's been acting up, but essentially, basically it clicked something in my head, and it made me think about how, as I was informing the union of Ben Wilson, I noticed not a whole lot of women are involved in the union. See, when you go to the union's website, you can email all of the people that are in charge. There's the president, the vice president, communications, based on region type management, things like that. Why a union needs that kind of bureaucracy, I don't know, but whatever. And you can also go to a section where you can find individuals and email them. And as I was looking around, I didn't see all that many women involved in this union. And that got me to thinking about women's role in the workplace. Because not only do women face more trials by getting paid less, getting disrespected, sexual harassment, but then the unions don't want to come behind them and protect them from those things. The entire point of the union is to represent you. It's supposed to be a group effort to reflect your sovereignty, to reflect your freedom as a worker, and, preserve your labor rights. I don't think it does a very good job because it's still within the confines of the capitalist mode of production, so it's not going to do all that much. But that's what it exists for. It exists for to secure your rights, and to secure your labor wages, and to secure you as a human being. You are entitled to certain things, and if you don't have a union, your employer is going to go behind you and pretty much break the law. They're not going to tell you the things that you're entitled to. They're not going to pay you as much as they're supposed to. They're not going to follow their own guidelines that they enforce on you, but then, don't do in return. So, understanding all of that, why aren't more women involved in unions? Because, primarily, it is women who suffer the most in the workplace. While indeed, I'm sure there are many men who suffer in the workplace. Do men get sexually harassed in the workplace on the magnitude that women do? Do men in the workplace get paid less to the magnitude that women do? In the workplace, are men just treated badly and treated as incompetent and incapable to the magnitude that women do? Of course not. So, why then are not unions more interested in gaining protecting women workers? That way, they can have the workers' rights they need and deserve. It just makes no sense to me. It's a lack of priority, is what I'm saying. And I I don't think it's so much that it just slipped their mind. I think it's because mostly it's men, so they just don't care. They think that, oh, they're just women, you know, who fucking cares? And they separate the workers' issue from the actual people affected by these issues. You know, there's a reason why Marxists put up with liberals despite all their flaws. And that's because typically minorities, whether it be ethnic or gender-wise, tend to suffer the most on these worker issues. So we have to take that into consideration. And you have these right-wingers that portray themselves as socialists and things that don't want to take that into consideration. And then you have the other side of the reactionary fence where, you know, they say they take it into consideration, but then don't worry about workers' rights. That's basically what you have as a choice in the Western societies, is you have the right-wing, you know, pseudo-socialists, the imperial socialists, that don't actually care about women's needs, minorities' needs, you know, homosexuals' needs, etc., and don't really do all that good of a job anyway of protecting workers' rights, because who are they really protecting? And then you have the other side of liberals that claim to care about all these different oppressed people, but then don't want to take the necessary steps to protect their workers' rights in institutions. So that's really what this video has become. At first, it was just my personal vendetta and getting a boner out of ruining somebody's life, but then it turned into a more, you know, I guess I could say pure and noble act of I'm actually concerned about the well-being of women as a whole in not only, you know, this society, but in general, because I don't see them being represented in the unions and in all these working forces that are trying to protect us, to protect our rights. I don't see women getting the same respect as I do a man. I guess that's it.